King Diamond, welcome to the program, my buddy.
Hey there.
How you feeling?
Very good.
You were out with Merciful Fate, right?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
We did a double headline tour actually in Europe, which was Merciful Fate and King Diamond on the same bill.
You must be tired after that show, huh?
It was pretty tough, yeah. But it was like, it really paid off well. It was a very good package, and it's not like one band bombed and the other was doing good, it really came across as a very good package.
What was the name of the band you were in before Merciful Fate?
For a short time there was a band called Brats.
Yeah, Brats, okay.
Released an album on CBS in Denmark, which was like half of it was punk, half of it was heavy. But I wasn't involved in that album. I joined after that album, and then we changed the style pretty drastically. And actually, they already had those ideas. It was more the bass player, and who also was the lead vocalist of that band, that was into that style. Hank Sherman was in the band, and Michael Denner was in the band, doing the guitar parts. And Michael Denner had left the band when I joined. So it was Hank and I who started developing this new style. And then we had to come up with a different name because CBS approached us after having heard the new demos and said, you can't sing in English like that, and you can't play as heavy as that, you have to do this and that, and said, well, then you can keep the two other members of the band and we'll do something else.
When did you start a musical career?
Oh, man, that's a long time ago. I really got interested when I heard the first Led Zeppelin album on a tiny little, tape recorder radio, and I wanted so bad to get a guitar that sounded like that, and knowing nothing, I went out and thought, well, I can probably do some, I don't know what, but this shows how little I knew. I got an acoustic guitar first, and I was sitting there, it gave me nothing, Then I had a good friend who built me my first amplifier, which was totally home built, and with built-in distortion and all this, and then went out and bought a cheap copy of an old Gibson, and suddenly I started getting some of that sounds like, whoa, man, this is something else, But
right.
I was never taught how to play guitar or the keyboards I do now or anything, I can't read notes. I still can't read notes at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the chords are that I'm taking. That's
So this sounds good. This will be the next chord. That's cool, though.
It's all by feel, If
Right.
it feels right, if it brings that right feel across to me, then it's fine. Even a lot of people in music and even in our own bands will come up and say to me, you can't really do that. Those notes are not. Well, it's here.
The King Diamond albums have always had this occult-themed stories, and I was wondering, it's a twofold question. One, were you inspired by maybe some of the early rock operas? And also, when did the occult start to take a major role in your life?
Well, it's the last question. It started in a big way one night when Merciful Fate had done one of the early demos. I've probably even told you this story before, but it was my brother and Kim Ross, the old drummer, and myself was waiting for the other guys to come by my apartment to listen to our new demo, and something really weird happened there. There was definitely a presence there which made my brother's glass float in the air, and we all saw it, and we were not on anything because I've never done drugs, and we were not drunk or anything like that, not that earlier in the night, So it really blew our minds, We didn't even speak about it that evening, It was a couple of days later we started talking about it because that was mind-blowing, And from then on, I wanted to learn more about it because it really, if you experience something like that, there are two things, either you block it out because you don't want to know of it or you're scared of it, or you get so fascinated and interested that you dig deeper, and that's what I did.
Right, kind of look into it a little bit more.
Yeah. And regarding all the stories, I was very much into storytelling with Merciful Fate from the early days, but it was just not the right format for the band,
Right.
With these, and you talked about Tommy, yes, of course, I love that. I also, Genesis, when they did The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and stuff like that, I saw that in concert, and saw the whole concept there being performed. It was like, whew.
Yeah.
But then, with my interest in the occult and horror, it took a whole different twist where suddenly, we could do these full stories, horror stories.
Right.
And it gives you a very good outlet for a lot of your emotions and just because the stories are usually put in a different time era doesn't mean that they're out of date, because they deal with human minds, you know.
Right.
Very much, and exactly the same as takes place in these stories you can relate to.
Right, but we all experience horror.
Still treat each other the same way we've done forever, you know, all the basic